What you gonna do?
It's the last person, sure.
Don't worry. You don't need any help.
Don't encourage me, Paul.
Councillor Burnley, you don't
We
need
are
any help.
just about
Thank you.
to. We're live.
So, welcome back, everybody. Optimistically, we are now back live. We have a proposal on the screen, which you've all read in red. This was proposed by Councillor Hope, seconded by Councillor Wakeling. The second part I've already explained. So all those in favour of that proposal?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
All those against? Any abstentions?
Oh,
One abstention. Paula,
fantastic.
that is passed, and please, good luck.
We'll be. Yeah.
We'll be in touch. Yes, ma'am.
Could I say, I understand there are 4 of the councillors who are going to be interested parties.
Mhm.
Would the deadline for making your representation is Tuesday. If you put in your representation that you wish to speak to the inspector at the inquiry, then it will go on their list of people to speak. It will reinforce the public outcry because the number of people requesting to speak will be indicative of that. And if there's anything that myself or my team can advise you with or share insights, delighted to help. Yeah.
Thank you, Paula. I think Attorney Clark wants to respond before you
Just to
respond.
respond, just to reassure councillors that the letter that I hope to put in tomorrow does name those 4 councillors and say that they wish to speak at the appeal. I am currently working on the draft scripts, as it were, for each of those 4 councillors to make sure we make best use of time, avoid duplication and don't leave any gaps. And I would be very appreciative of your eyes on that, Paula, to assist us and make sure that we're covering as much ground as we possibly can and supporting you and the other groups and the communities in making the best representation this council can make.
And you might like to know that yesterday I referred back to the submission that Weymouth Town Council made on the planning application and pulled out a paragraph which was looking at the economic impact in particular, because the barrister wanted to know about that. So
We have all your contact details. We do. Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much for taking the time.
I just want to make a brief point.
Yes, okay.
If I may. Thank you. I want to thank Paula for her efforts. We had a difficult conversation in confidential session. We know that a huge amount of money is going to be required to fight this appeal. And I wonder if we as a council could invite people to match fund, dribs and drabs, just £1 to the crowdfunding page. We've, it's made the difficult decision that we can fund this. Please, please, please support.
I'm happy to do that. Paula, could you possibly send me the link to your crowdfunding?
definitely.
Thank you. If you do that as soon as possible,
Well,
we
you-
can share that.
The last email I sent to you will have that crowdfunding link on.
No problem.
On the
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you.
Okay. Change the agenda now. We're going to, because Shane is sat in the corner there listening to this. Shane, I invite you to come up. I just want to give councillors just a reminder. If you remember some time ago, this committee was quite forthright in putting together an asset plan for maintenance, which looks like that, if you can remember it. Goes under my pillow. I've asked Shane to come along. It was the agreement that they would come along every 6 months, just to let us know how they're doing against spending that money that we allocated last year, and also to separate it from the next item on the agenda, which is a different item. So that we're clear about what maintenance is and what capital investment is. Shane, welcome.
Hello, thank you very much, Chair. Here's my microphone's not working, so I'll just give a brief
Some reason,
overview.
some of the microphones is the only one that's working, Chair.
Yes, by design.
This report presents a mid-year update of the planned maintenance programme previously agreed. The appendix is a live document that is amended as new information comes to light on additions to the programme and budget updates for the scheme. Officers strive to obtain the best value as demonstrated by some of the schemes coming in under budget. The remaining essential schemes will be undertaken in the second half of this year with the view to completing these within 6 to 18 months due to expertise needed in certain aspects, whilst also using our in-house maintenance team to undertake the necessary important schemes where possible to achieve value for money. Officers will also produce a report to bring back to relevant committees on future options outlining alternative savings. The programme amounts are to be kept to keep assets at current service levels, with the funding subject to conversations at the budget working group. There is a link between the planned maintenance programme and other funding schemes, capital investment schemes, such as sales and reserves, all of which will be effective sums needed in the programme. Thank you.
Okay, councillors, any questions for Shane? You've got the detail in the appendix. We're getting on with investing in our assets. Any questions? So, the proposal.
Good job you hung around, Shane. Never get that money back, will we?
No questions.
Valuable experience for all officers to attend a committee meeting regularly,
Yes,
to see democracy in action.
yes, that sounds like this personal development. Shane. That's why we're all here. So no questions. We've Shane and I have already met a couple of times really to talk about the play area issue, whether, you know, what is maintenance and what is capital investment. And we'll get onto that in the next paper. But yes, you can see, and I know there's questions from this committee previously about do we have a handle on our assets. Shane's been focused on this, and I think we've got a clear way forward. Councillor Hamilton.
Thank you. I do have a question. On Melcombe Regis play area, that's on this list, yeah?
Yep.
What's the timetable on that? And what-
In progress. Is it red?
In progress?
There's builders on site at the moment.
Fantastic.
It's currently being developed at the moment.
Yeah.
The builders on site, and I imagine will be on site within the next couple of weeks.
Okay. That's the one sort of between Swannery Court and the Gurkha, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it gonna stop looking like some kind of punishment area?
Unfortunately, it's part of the current drugs, it's only having additional equipment in there. Could do some more landscaping, more investment, because it's very harsh and it's in one of our most deprived areas, one of our highest football areas as well for park. We are fully aware of that, but it is, but on our next item. It's still.
Next item. But I'm interested in what a punishment area looks like, because my wife tells me it's my study, go there and don't come out until Coronation Street's done. Anyway.
I keep expecting to see a rerun of the closing scene of Shawshank Redemption.
Oh.
What?
Unfortunately, it's one of those areas that
Good God.
requires fencing, being so near water. But what we can look at is a softening of the landscape for future projects.
There is a planting of grass.
The swans will eat it.
I'm good, I'm sorry, Councillor Wade.
The one thing I've noticed them building, I think, is what I describe as a musical trampoline. I think you jump on it and place notes, so that should be more exciting.
It's accessible as well, so.
And it's fully accessible swings for children.
Okay, I'm going to cut it short there because
Okay.
time's pressed.
Can we cut the edit then? I welcome this investment.
The one thing I'd draw people's attention to is in the text around the promenade. Yeah, I lost the word there. We've done about half, and that is a capital investment because it's replacing. So, we will come back probably as a result of the underspend, and so we need that £80,000 we put aside 2 years ago has been spent. And if you've seen the sort of refurb, you know, it's done a proper job, so we've replaced all the radiators. But it does look a bit odd now that we've got half of it done and half of it not. So that's probably one outside of that. But I'm going to take the fact that we've got no questions as the fact that we're agreeing to this plan, and ask Shane to get on with it. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for staying.
So do you do a vote? You're done? Is that-
Don't think we need
The recommendation, members are asked to agree the revised plan maintenance programme to be implemented alongside the capital investment programme. So that would require a proposal second.
Proposed by councillor Hamilton, seconded by councillor Lambert. All those in favour?
That's unanimous.
Unanimous. Thanks, Shane.
Thanks very much, everyone. Thank you, Shane. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shane, for the time you gave us.
So we're now going back.
to item 10. Yes. Okay. So I'll do, can I give a bit of background? So if you remember, members, the last full council, I think it was, there was a paper brought forward which looked like that, which was a sort of paper to recommend spending SIL money on some projects, and there was a sort of hierarchy put in there. And I objected to that on the basis that it hadn't investigated what we'd already previously agreed as a capital investment, bringing together some of the things that we'd agreed to do but hadn't allocated funding, and this to come over the top. So what Ian and I did was go back to the asset management maintenance plan and take out any capital, back to the strategy and what we'd already agreed, and also include the seafront master plan actions, which we paid money to have done, and then concentrated our efforts on what we were going to invest in. So all of that's now been taken into consideration. And the paper that you see before you is a priority order of the things that we previously agreed, and it's quite similar to the original paper. So there are toilets in there, which we do need to spend money on. There is play areas in there, and the upside of investing in capital play areas, of course, is the maintenance costs will go down, which enables Shane to spread his maintenance further. And there is funding allocated to the seafront master plan, which we'd already paid money to have the consultants do for us. So that was what wasn't considered. Tumbledown has been taken out, and you can see a note there regarding that they need to come back with a investment plan, if you like, something that they're going to do. So that's been taken out. So of the, I can't remember the numbers, 290,000, I think, is what we're committing to as a council from SIL. So I'll take any questions and we'll go from there. Councillor Hogan.
Thank you very much, Chair. Just want to clarify just a point on the seafront master plan. That's not yet been adopted by this council. So therefore, Councillor Legg, it's not been shelved. The plan will be coming forward to the Environment and Services Committee at our next committee, which I believe is the 1st of November. I'm just looking at my clerk there to make sure that's still on track.
We have our first consultation session with all seafront traders tomorrow.
Thank you very much. So yes, that plan will be coming forward to the Environment and Services Committee to be reviewed and hopefully adopted. And then should this committee allocate that funding tonight for SIL, we'll give officers the green light to go out and start delivering aspects of them, because as been indicated, we've already invested in creating this plan to this stage, it's important that we deliver it. We are a council of action that's been demonstrated by our progress over the last 4.5 years, and that's carrying that good work. Second point, if I may, Chair, is just to fully endorse this revised allocation of SIL. It's much more, as you said in your introduction, aligns to our approved policies and strategies that we spent time delivering. And I think it's a much more sensible way to spend the money.
Councillor Lane.
Oh, it's working now, good, thank you. I read it back on you. I can't pick up right now, but it just said that Dorset Council SIL money is not being allocated to areas where parish or town councils have still got quite a few years of SIL money unspent. And this is obviously going to overcome that problem. But I just like, well, this is a question that is one I tend to favour and answer yes to. These public conveniences, if we could satisfy Dorset Council that we don't have monies to stop them investing SIL money in this area, could that public conveniences programme be accentuated by having maybe 2 or 3 a year done if Dorset Council support it?
Well, I think, I'm not sure Dorset Council would fund from their SIL money investment in our public toilets. The reason that Dorset Council said that they wouldn't give us any SIL money was based on from memory, correct me if I'm wrong, Tony Clark, was based on an application that we were making for Tumbledown.
Yeah.
And they said, we won't give you any more money for Tumbledown because you've got SIL money of your own. That was the conversation that went on. What we're demonstrating here is that we're spending our SIL money for the benefit of residents on things that we previously agreed in the strategy. So that's the sort of congruent bit that we're bringing together. It wasn't to do with the SIL money allocation for Dorset Council is convoluted to say the least, and they wouldn't allocate money from SIL to our public conveniences because we own them.
Now, come back on that, quite a few of them though are in car parks. They get a revenue from car parks, we do not get a revenue from toilets. And therefore, couldn't an argument be put that maybe car parks, toilets should be considered?
We can certainly explore that. I mean, I know intimately the scoring metrics for SIL money for Dorset Council because I failed twice before to get some. I don't think it would. We can try, but you know, Andy Galpin, who runs SIL for Dorset, is. I'll have a conversation with him to see whether that's possible. So yes, I'll take it as an action, but they're more likely to listen to an application now or something like Tumbledown now that we've spent our SIL or now that we've allocated our SIL money. That was sort of where we were going with that. And the second prong of this was we're spending money on things that we previously agreed, we're just funding them from SIL as we would anything else because they benefit, the seafront benefits all of the people that live in Weymouth because most of them use the promenade. Most of the people use public toilets at one time or another, so we do need to invest in those. So that's what's before you today. The play areas, you know, a lot of that stuff's coming to the end of its life, so it does need some capital investment, which will reduce our maintenance ongoing for the next council.
Are we charging Chico for any of this?
No. Anybody else? So the recommendation before you is to allocate that money and to recommend it to full council, yes? Yes.
It's full council that allocates.
Yes, so our job as a committee is to recommend it to full council. Anybody got any questions on that recommendation? Can I have a proposal? Councillor Hamilton, seconded by Councillor Legg. All those in favour?
That's unanimous.
Unanimous, thank you, committee. Item 12. Risk management update and review of the corporate risk register. Town Clerk's can introduce.
Me too, Chair, yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Councillors will recall that it is an annual duty of full council to fully review the risk management and corporate risk register. always an exciting time of year when we get to fully review and plan for how on earth things could go wrong and what we as officers propose to do to stop those things going wrong and ameliorate the impacts should they go wrong. That is an annual requirement. It is part of our audit. We do have to do it. If we don't do it, we could fail external audit because of it. This is not the annual review, this is the requested mid-year position update. So this also isn't a request to amend the risk register or change anything in it. This is sort of purely an information type report to let you know how we are doing and any significant items that we want to inform you of. Happy to take any questions, Chair.
Councillor Hamilton.
Thank you, Chair. Can I ask if there have been any recommendations from external audit recently, or has the council received any sort of feedback on its financial management from any recent external audits? Question mark.
Thank you. Thank you so much for asking, Councillor Hamilton. Unfortunately, it arrived slightly too late, but I am very pleased, and hopefully some of you would have seen my enthusiastic video on Facebook telling everybody that for yet another year, we have been given a completely clear both internal audit and external audit. And just to remind you, our external auditors are appointed by the government. We do not appoint them, they're appointed for us. Giving us a clean bill of health, they have no recommendations and no items to raise. They are perfectly happy, and I'm very proud of the council, again, achieving that significant milestone for yet another year. And my thanks to Ian Milne.
Who's on a sunbed somewhere from? Any other questions? Just like the councillor.
Thank you very much, Chair. First of all, can I just note, I really like the new layout of this document.
Thank you.
I've noticed it's changed again and then it's much more readable, accessible and easier to understand. So much like the quarter updates, which we've received a change from, another step in the right direction there. Chair, was that your idea by any chance?
Just the way, Ian's.
That's just the way, quite like that. But one item that does obviously draw to our attention, which is a concern, is the risk rating 16 for cyber security, loss of IT. And that is a real concern basically with what's going on with cyber attacks on the app. Big risk. It's been a high risk, I think, for a while now on this risk register, and we don't seem to see any movement on it. Can we have any assurances what's actually been done to reduce this risk to the council? And I'm sure it's a risk that and a concern that our residents will share, bearing in mind we hold a lot of their personal data.
IT risk management is something that really does develop at pace as those who wish to commit cyber attacks and challenge our cyber security get ever more inventive and knowledgeable, and there's always something new coming around, not only from risk of malware, denial of service, but also on the very low level. I know a lot of councillors and staff receive regularly those emails asking you to go and buy £400 worth of Amazon vouchers. So it's a complete sliding scale, ever more inventive ways. We are working with our current IT provider on what we can bring in, and also sharing information, making sure everybody is trained and informed, and that's both staff and councillors. We will be looking to re-tender our IT service, and cyber security will be a key part of that. We're introducing mandatory essential training for all staff, and that will form part of the induction process. And if you look on page 5 of the appendix, which is just up there, there's some sort of 9 points that Ian Milne is taking forward as the lead on this particular area of work. Should any councillors have any particular expertise in this area or something they wish us to look at, more than happy to take that to Ian and discuss adding that into the risk register. Thank you, Chair.
I'd just like to add that we've got 25,000 in an IT reserve, which is specifically for upgrading our IT. So the money's there to do whatever we need to do Here we got. Councillor Nicky.
Sorry, Chairman, just I'll come back on one point.
Yes.
I recommend that the council looks to become cyber, certified cyber awareness. It's probably worth looking at as part of mitigation risks. Cyber essentials.
Is that a training hub?
It's an accreditation that basically dictates, and through that accreditation, it dictates everything we should be doing. To make sure that we are cyber secure.
And we'll take that forward. I'm going to ask Councillor Wakeling to respond before I go to the list I have in front of me.
As I work in IT, we have the biggest issue is actually the people in the system. Generally, the systems are secure, it's people. We have an acronym we use, which is PEDCAP. Problem exists between keyboard and chair. That is generally the problem with cybersecurity. Unfortunately, the systems are quite secure. People fall for these emails that appear very, very legitimate in some cases. And yes, training, I think all councillors really should be also trained. Shouldn't just be staff mandatory. We will have login to SharePoint. Any one of us could equally well be. Unfortunately, these people are very, very malicious.
I think I'll be on 4.5 year training course with Dorset Council as it stands now, because they're forever training us on malware. Councillor Nicholson.
Yes, thank you. Following on from that, Councillor Wakeling, isn't the biggest, one of the biggest problems we have is that everybody, councillors are all using different equipment, different computers, but have no standardised kind of malware, etc. Isn't that the risk that somebody's going to have a lack of security on their laptop, etc., and that's the way they're going to get into our system?
We could have a policy, certainly all council devices have antivirus installed, etc. Because yes, we all do that. But the biggest scam is this email phishing, where they send you a very legitimate looking message. You need to log into something or this, and then they've just got your password, and then they've got access to our systems. Somebody in my company fell for one about 2 years ago, and it cost us a lot of money in a very short space of time. So unfortunately, there are malicious actors out there. Some of them are just plain on content, and some of them are part of something else. But certainly security training is the most important thing at the moment. I know quite a few councils using the tablet now, and the software on those is reasonably secure. They're controlled by Apple or Google or whatever. There are some viruses, but the biggest weakness is always the people.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to refer back to the very good points made by Councillor Hope. You raised a concern about risk of loss of sensitive data. If I'm right in understanding what it says in our agenda, breach of general data protection regulations is a lower risk rating, it's amber. So I want to offer that reassurance. I know that's slightly different to cyber attack, but it is separated out here. I want to put a question about another item on the agenda, which is staff wellbeing. The likelihood of risk has increased from 2 to 3 over the last 12 months. I'd like to hear from the team about how these risks are being managed and the stresses and pressures that the team currently face. Thank you.
So those of you who are members of the HR committee will be privileged to some of the information I've shared there that I'm unfortunately not able to share here, and unless you move into sort of more confidential. But we're going through a period of significant change for a lot of our staff. There have been some significant alterations to lines of management, staff have gone, new staff have arrived, and that takes a little while to embed. And that sort of, for those of you who know the change management curve, there's that bit of pain that needs to be got through, and how we're supporting our teams in that is with reassurance, having open lines of communication, working with our managers to make sure that we're addressing any wellbeing needs when they come up. But part of the function of change management is it just takes time for these things to embed and people to get used to new ways of working, explore those new ways of working and gain their own confidence in it. Part of the issue we have at the moment is we are missing one key member of staff, the Democratic and Civic Officer. At the last full council, I was kindly invited to do a little bit of a sales pitch for that, and just another one, the vacancy is still there. It's a very flexible vacancy, full, part-time, flexible hours. But what that does mean is that myself, Ian and Charmaine are essentially covering that role at the moment. So I'm feeling the pain of typing minutes, which is something I've shared with a number of you. It's not my favourite job in local government, but a very important and key job in local government. We're also writing the papers, dispatching the agendas. So there's some issue with members of staff. We have some long-term sickness at the moment that we're managing and supporting staff through. It's just really a combination of that, but I'm confident that we are heading in the right direction. We're supporting staff, moving into a better phase of that change curve. We're recruiting, and I remain confident that we're going to recruit a Democratic officer very soon. I don't know if I could invite the Assistant Town Clerk to add anything she may feel is relevant.
You can. I just want to add into the question about the Democratic Oscar on Naylor Payne. Have we really considered going ahead and
I would, that's our next step.
So with regards to welfare and staff and how things are feeling, we're also putting some training and coaching in place for our managers. So it can just support them, but they've got skills to support their wider team. And that is starting in the next couple of weeks. So that's also, and obviously we've got the employee assist program, which we're continually pushing towards the team. But yeah, we are getting things in place. I think, like Jane said, it's that change curve, and a few months in bed would be on a.
any further questions? So just to recap on the risk register, staff wellbeing, breach of data protection, injury or death, because obviously what we do is on lots of IT are the four main risks that we have, and there is a plan in place with owners to mitigate those risks. So I think the recommendation was only to note that we had one, was it? Yes. Yeah. So to note it, unless there's any more questions. Do we need a vote?
You can do. I know councillors have been quite relaxed in the past about noting, so I should leave that decision to the chair.
Let's do a vote. Take 2 minutes. So proposed by councillor Harris, seconded by councillor Legg. All those in favour of the report, Ian, vote.
Unanimous.
Unanimous. Okay.
2 minutes.
10 seconds.
Leaving time for you to say, I just want to ask one more question to councillor Legg, which sometimes you do.
No, I just want to buy one less pint.
Well, that'll probably be mine then. Information, item 13 is information items, as my fellow chair sometimes says, they're for information only, so I'm taking no questions.
Second that.
Thank you. So I formally close the meeting at 9:23. Very much.
Right.
Thank you.